This week's Latin root is spect, which comes from the Latin words spicere, meaning to look at, and spectare, meaning to watch. To this root, we can add a variety of prefixes and suffixes to form new words that have something to do with looking or watching. For example, a spectacle is usually a large performance which is viewed by an audience. Spectacle comes from the Latin word spectare, which means to watch. A spectacle is a noun, which means it's a thing. It's a show or performance. We watched a spectacle, or that fireworks show was quite a spectacle. Spectacles are showy. Some synonyms of spectacles include display, show, but also pageant, parade, performance, exhibition, and even extravaganza. Spectacles tend towards that extravaganza amount of showiness. Something which is spectacular is expressive to watch. Spectacular is an adjective that describes something visually impressive. You could say that was a spectacular concert. The lights and staging were amazing. The suffix ar means having the quality of, so something spectacular means it has the quality of being a spectacle. Also, since spectacles are shows, it's normal for people to watch them. People who watch performances are called spectators. The suffix or often means person who. A spectator is literally one who watches. The word spectacle is usually a large performance which is viewed by an audience, but when it's plural, spectacles, they're eyeglasses. Eyeglasses are called spectacles because they help people who have poor eyesight be able to see better. So far we've looked at, no pun intended, words that start with the root spect, but we can attach prefixes and suffixes to the root to form even more new words. The prefix per means through. The suffix iv means having the quality of. So perspective means having the quality of looking through someone's eyes or having their viewpoint. In art, it means making the picture appear to have depth, as if you were looking at a 3D object instead of a flat picture. You literally look through it. To respect a person is to look back at a person with great regard. The prefix re means back. To suspect a person is to look at a person with mistrust. The word aspect comes from the word sight, but it's a little tricky because we tend to use it more generally to mean a particular feature or part of something. It could be a visual aspect, but it doesn't have to be. For example, which aspect of that school do you find most appealing? Is it the academics or the extracurricular activities? Or in the context of a business deal, you might ask, which aspects of his proposal don't you agree with? Prospect comes from the Latin word meaning prospectus, meaning distant view. A person's prospects are their future expectations. A prospector is a person who looks deep into the earth for minerals. During the gold rush, there were lots of gold prospectors. Inspect comes from the word in, meaning intensive or in, and spect means to look at. So to inspect means to look into something carefully to figure out what's going on, to figure out something particular. A house inspection is a check of a house to see if it's safe and secure. Introspection, so the prefix intro instead of in, is the examination of yourself because you're looking at your faults. So after much introspection, you may come to some conclusion about how you can improve your character. The Latin word spectrum means appearance. Notice that there's an R after the T, so now it's not just spect, but specter. Spectrum means appearance, and a spectrum is the range of colors which is seen after a white light passes through a prism. Basically, a rainbow is a spectrum. The word spectrum is a noun. It's a thing. A spectrum can also be used to designate a range of something. The electromagnetic spectrum looks at the range of wavelengths. We also use it more abstractly when we talk about a range of behaviors. For example, a leader can range from a dictator who makes all the decisions alone to a collaborator who works as a team with others. You might say, where does this person fall on the leadership spectrum? Because there's a range of points, and they could be somewhere in between the two extremes. And you may have heard of autism spectrum disorders. Here again, spectrum means that there's a broad range of symptoms from severe to mild, and a given person can fall anywhere in between. As we said, the Latin word spectrum means appearance, and the word specter is a ghostly apparition which is visible and is usually very frightening. Please note that in Britain they spell spectre S-P-E-C-T-R-E, and in America we often spell it S-P-E-C-T-E-R. You'll likely say it both ways, and it means the same thing. We also use the word specter more abstractly to represent a visible or invisible threat or menace. We often talk about the specter of nuclear war or nuclear arms. James Bond is a specter, a threat, and there's a movie by that title featuring him. And I just realized that one of my favorite TV characters, Harvey Specter from Suits, is also probably named that by the writers because his role in the show is to be the threat, the lawyer you don't want to go up against because he never loses. Circumspect means cautious, careful, guarded. You look and think before you act if you are circumspect.